And we're live. We're here
with Robin Stegall.
with Robin Stegall, registered dietitian.
What up, baby?
Body Science RD.
What's up? First things first. You already have your wine, but we're gonna pour a little bit.
Make a glass.
Oh, goodness gracious. I actually just looked up this brand. They're out of France, so
It's good wine.
good wine.
Yeah.
It's from France. You know it's good.
Well, I mean, that alone is why it's good wine.
Honestly, it's pretty
Hey,
Cheers!
Cheers.
Thank
Happy-
you for coming on.
yeah, happy 2023,
Yeah,
guys. Oh my goodness.
absolutely. So
Yeah,
where do we start?
there's so many
I
things.
didn't even take a sip. That's bad luck.
All the things. Oh,
You're supposed to taste
is this a
it when you
drinking?
cheers.
It's a drinking game,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
god, is this a drinking show?
Mm.
Every
Should be.
time we stutter, we have
Drink.
to take a drink.
Yeah.
Every
Okay.
time
Oh my
Kelly
gosh.
says 100%, we take a drink.
Yeah, I say 100% a lot. So, okay. Do you want me to give people like a little soft intro into you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm curious what your intro is for me. I can't wait to hear
well,
this.
don't get too excited.
Damn it.
Okay. Well, first of all, we've been friends
Forever.
forever for a
Yes.
long time. So I actually worked with you when I was having some serious struggles in my own diet brain,
Yeah, but
working out phase.
please tell them how we met and where we were when we met. Because
It's like a love story.
it is a bit of a love story. So my thing is that I'm like the oldest person in the room. And for some weird reason, probably unhealthy lifestyle choices, I have bad hearing. And so when I first met Kelly, I got her and our other friend Jessica mixed up all the time. And so for the first 2 months of our relationship, I kept like wanting to call you or calling you another person's name. So maybe that's not so much hard of hearing, but
It's like
also
meet cute.
Yeah.
dementia too, maybe? I don't know.
It created a really strong bond between us.
It
I
did
think.
a lot of initial respect right out of
Yes,
the gate. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. So Robin is a registered dietitian
Mhm.
and she's the best of the best, obviously. And so, like I said, I actually worked with her a couple years ago when I was really struggling. And so Robin called me back in August, I think,
Yeah.
maybe. And was talking about your ambitions and your goals and where you wanted to take your business. And she called me and we took our relationship to the next
It
level.
was so hot.
It was like sexual,
So good.
honestly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we've been working together since September or October.
You've already gone viral on TikTok.
Robin has gone viral.
Viral.
We'll pull up the video really quick for
Oh,
you
don't.
guys. We won't.
So you
Robin-
have to preface this
Okay.
with the struggle is real for me.
Yeah,
The struggle
So-
is real.
the struggle's real. It's hard for even I don't like watching my own. When I make like TikToks of myself, I don't
think-
like watching them.
Yeah, but so like there is a generational difference in that people like because I'm in my 40s and well into my 40s. And the thing about it is that I did not grow up seeing myself in film or like it just wasn't a medium that was
Right.
widely
Mhm.
available
Right.
or really often hearing my own voice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so the biggest, most nerve-wracking thing you would do in terms of like public performance would be a PowerPoint presentation using, and I kid you not, in graduate school, an overhead projector.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We had to get transparent slides for the overhead projector to then stand and that was like your social media feed right there.
Mhm.
So this world has been a world of fear. And
Yeah.
and honestly would never have even ventured forth into it without having someone that I deeply trusted and had like a background with.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to go into shark infested waters, my suggestion is that you trust your
have your own
captain or
Yeah.
or your captain has a team of sharks.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what it is.
But we had a long therapy session about it before.
and continuing ongoing.
And
I
continuing
know.
on. And I think that, like you and I were talking about last night, I am just so happy and snaps for everybody involved.
Is that what we do?
Yeah.
Is that the
Yeah.
thing?
Snaps.
Snaps for everybody involved because my projection of where I saw your content and the engagement and the rise of
And
Robin
her
Stegall.
Understandably
Of-
low expectations. for
No,
me.
of Body
Totally.
Science RD, I really was thinking that we were looking at around 6 months to a year of really, before we started getting any of the major goals like the passive income stream or hosting webinars or education and all those things that we had talked about initially. And we're starting them in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, like having
So-
people reaching out to you through social media because they see your videos and trust you because of what you're saying.
Well, so I think that's the most important part about it, is that I had sort of incorrectly viewed social media as a tool that was like not necessarily a medium for positive change, because there's so much negativity that you find in social media, and like a lot of the news making, things that come out about social media, it's always in the negative. But both of you guys were really so good about explaining that this is an opportunity to to make the difference, that this is what motivates and drives me every day, is how can I make a meaningful and really actual impactive, positive difference in people's lives. And y'all help me see how social media can be that tool to actually broaden the number of people that I'm hopefully able to provide at least another source of information that might help them in a way that they would not necessarily have seen had I not
100%.
decided to go out and do social media.
Absolutely. And I think that you're even, like I said, the projection that what I was thinking where you were going to be with Body Science RD and our content and your engagement, I mean, it has just exceeded all of the expectations. And Leslie and I were talking about this last night. Like, we get snaps to us, of course, but really it snaps to you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Leslie and I talked about this last night after you and I talked. It's really, we are just the vessel, we're the vessel that can get you there. You are the captain. Like, you are the one that is manning that ship, and you are the one that I'm dead ass serious.
Yeah.
And if you were not so great on camera, if you weren't so educated, if you weren't so confident and passionate about what you do, we wouldn't be here.
For
so
sure.
Definitely, I think you need to give yourself a pat on the back for that, because
and you're also very relatable. Like, you're a very approachable person on social media. Like, I feel like
we talk a lot about this.
Even when I personally see your videos, because your videos pop up on my For You page, and when I just see them, I'm like, and not just because I know you, but from an impartial.
I know exactly what you're about to say, and I agree.
As impartial as I can be without, already knowing you, I would look at that video and say, like, wow, this is really interesting. Like, I want to watch more. I would, if I didn't know you, I would follow you.
So you're saying that you don't hate me?
I am definitely saying I don't hate you. Yeah.
I trust what you're saying. You speak with so much confidence and passion that it just comes off as so powerful and meaningful.
I mean, and I know that, you feel right now that we're just tooting your horn, but we're so serious in the sense that we coach our clients about having that type of confidence. Like, you can coach people and it takes them a long time to get there. But it's so amazing that people don't understand, when you're talking and communicating in the camera, that your voice has to be a certain pitch.
Oh.
We talk about this.
You remember that.
Yeah, we talk about this, the words that you use.
I really struggled in the beginning because I thought you guys needed me to be the same level of.
No,
it's how can you be so, how do you sound alive and not flat?
Yeah, right.
Yes. But you don't necessarily have to be the super amped up.
Yeah, you don't have to be infomercial.
Right.
But
in which y'all yell at me.
You still have to sound like a human, you're still living and breathing.
Yeah. And it's in finding that perfect, all of those things, aligning is really hard. It's not something that comes naturally to people all the time. And for you, I think it really does. I think you are born an educator, and I think you are, at your core, you are an educator, and you like talking about what you know and sharing that with other people. And not everybody has that. So, coaching somebody on how to be more confident in what they're talking about. And sometimes it's not even that they're not confident in what they're talking about. It's just they're not confident in that atmosphere. Being in this type of atmosphere, you guys are watching this, but there's cameras all over the place. There's cameras in your face all the time. Yes. And you're always running through, you have the monologue in your own head as well as what you're trying to say to the camera. So it's very hard. And I think you do that really well. So
I appreciate it. I think that, part of the training that you have as a dietitian is you do a lot of listening and you have whenever you meet a client or a patient, they're coming to you in a moment of vulnerability, and you have a very short window of time in which to make that person feel heard and seen and and trust you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the only way that relationship works is they have to be able to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter how much you know, it doesn't matter how effective your therapy or whatever is going to be. If your client doesn't trust you, then it never comes across because they can't receive it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I needed is trust in the team. And that's why, and you guys, that's it. So I can say something and then look to you guys and say, okay, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I can tell, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to get honesty, and I'm going to get, I can tell if you guys are, so that develops trust. And when you have trust, you can let go of the negative internal critic
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
somewhat,
Yeah.
not always.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's
Not
something
all
that
the
we
way.
use in social media constantly, is that know, like, and trust factor to
Yep.
all of your content.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if someone doesn't know who you are, doesn't like you,
Mhm.
and doesn't trust you, they're not going to want to follow your page. They're not going to want to engage in your content. They're not going to,
Yeah.
put a second thought to swiping past your video. But creating that know, like, trust bond and creating a relationship with all those people. And you have very short amount of time. You have, in social media, it's like you have 3 seconds of video
Mm-hmm.
to build that instantaneous
Mm-hmm.
connection in their brain. And you do
Absolutely.
it amazingly.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you've gone viral. You have, in such a short amount of time, you've gained so much of a following and so much,
Yeah.
people actually caring what you have to say.
Yeah.
Well, so I think that is the thing that you're trying really hard for people to walk away with, is that I did not go into social media because I want a ton of followers. Like, that was not the motivation for doing it. What
Mhm.
the motivation behind it? What is the energy behind this? Like, the
Mhm.
why behind it
Right.
is that, can I make a difference in a positive way in other people's lives? And how do I do that? Because if I'm only ever doing that on a one-on-one or in small enclosed settings,
Mm-hmm.
then my ability to, and I deeply, deeply care about making the world a better place and making people healthier and happier in themselves and their
Mhm.
bodies, and giving them whatever knowledge I have to enable them to do
Mhm.
that.
Right.
But you get limited if you're only ever doing that on a individual by individual basis.
Right.
So the point, and I think the energy behind everything that we do is that we are, what is driving this is not necessarily to get more followers.
No.
What is
Yeah.
driving this is, can we be a source where someone can see it and know, okay, she actually cares.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I give a damn.
Yeah.
I give
Mhm.
about
a lot of dams.
a lot of dams
Mhm.
because I give a damn about people, and I want them to be
Yeah.
better off for having crossed my path,
Yeah.
right? As
Right.
a dietitian.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. And I think that's what we leverage in our social media. And I think
Mhm.
that's why maybe people can connect with it, or
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping they pick up on the give a dams, right? Like,
Yeah.
I hope they pick up on the care.
Yeah.
Like, we actually really do care. And we
Yeah.
really are trying to create a space where people feel like they don't have to live in terror or fear around
Right.
how they feed themselves, or,
Yeah.
that they have answers that are scientifically based and make sense and are sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a source of trusted information because the people behind it really do care.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think that, the why behind, really, that can go across the board for anything that anybody does, is really the foundation and the backing of that the reason why you get up in the morning,
Yes.
that propeller, that thing that drives you. And I think
100%.
it's so nice to work with somebody that, has such a pure and strong foundation. I mean, it really is. It's refreshing.
So I'm the world's best salesperson and the world's worst salesperson,
Mhm.
in the sense that I cannot speak or advocate for something that I'm not 100%
Yeah.
committed and all in on. And if I don't believe it, I will never be able to. And by sell it, I mean communicate it. So what I'm hoping people know is that, there is an honesty behind what we're trying to do, in the
Mhm.
sense that we are honestly trying to give people access in a short and digestible way,
Mhm.
and
Right.
to some helpful information or information that, you know, perhaps might give them a different positive spin in their life.
Right. And, you know, I think too, you know, social media is just one of the many platforms that we're going to get you on. I mean, social media is really just, you know, the tip of the iceberg. So we just talked about today that we're going to start getting into you hosting webinars and what that's going to look like, how we're going to do it, how we're going to, you know, make that transition into making you
Teacher Robin.
Exactly.
I love teaching, actually.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. Professor
Robin. Ooh, I like that.
Oh my gosh, she get you like a sexy little
Stop it.
teacher's outfit.
I love that. I think that's so
Get you
funny.
one of those really long sticks to point at the whiteboard with.
Yeah. We have the whiteboard now. So we actually, when we put it up, I literally, Leslie and I thought we were like, this will be so good for Robin because she can stand here and she can draw her things.
And put her thoughts on a board she can see
my
in front of her
true,
eyes.
like the real Robin, which is like the true raw hardcore nerd of me that is like super unsexy and totally not interesting to about 99% of the population. That Robin, is that what you're talking about?
No.
No, so here's the deal.
That
So
Robin doesn't exist.
I like to teach and I like to teach about the subject that I'm passionate about, which happens to be nutrition and helping people uncouple themselves from the bondage of like, you know, weight and fat. Like there is so much bondage created in society about either eating perfectly or correctly, or it's rigid and binary and very terrifying.
It's intense.
And it's abnormal too. Like at what other time in human history have we had the luxury or the ability to be this jacked up about our food beliefs and our thoughts around food, right?
Yeah.
So just trying to create a space where people can be empowered and know how to nourish themselves appropriately based on the best of what we can have in this time in history. It's science, right? Can we leverage the good of science and apply it in a way that we're not crazier for it?
Right.
And that's the goal.
Yeah.
And teaching about that. That's what we're hoping to do in webinar.
Yeah, I think, and I'm so excited about that because again, I just believe that foundation is just so pure and that everybody has their struggle, you know?
Oh God, yes.
And I think that's why, you know, again, we talk a lot about misinformation that's out there. We talk about all different types of, I mean, I'm not here to slander anybody, but I really feel like the purpose of you coming onto social media is to really give that honest and science-based facts, you know? And I think that not only can people relate to that, but people have a respect for that. And I think that's really, really important. I mean, any influencer can come on and just be like, I lost 30 pounds from eating that. What was that gut health thing that we did?
Coconut cult. That was the first reaction video we ever did.
Yeah. And so
anyone can do it.
And, you know, that influencer's getting paid probably, you know, $500 to make that video. And then people are watching that and really thinking that that's
like a cure-all.
A cure-all. And so coming onto social media again is just a jumping off point for you. And I think that we will always continue to educate people on, you know, the facts and the science and making them feel good about being in their skin and being who they are and know that there is a way to eat healthy and to feel good and not, like you said,
not feel trapped in a prison of like all these super restrictive rules and food beliefs.
Yeah.
Because again, the purpose of food, it's part of our toolkit for many things, but it is part of what we eat is how we nourish our bodies. But our food isn't just about that. It's also about so many other things, culture and like our, you know, socializing and traditions and all kinds of other things. And I have watched enough people over the years fall prey to beliefs that have, instead of giving them more joy about their life and more power around their, you know, their like self-care, it's made them more isolated, more fearful, unable to enjoy like family traditions or feel, you know, tension or grief when they are in social situations. So they'd rather avoid them and maintain this perfect eating than, you know, and again, if that is how you're feeding yourself, and if that's the mission of your self-care, in the long run, it doesn't leave you in a place that's better and more. It's smaller and isolating. And I feel like what we're trying to do is reach more people with a message that I always joke that health is it's about being more, right? It's like more energetic and more vibrant and more confident and more comfortable and more empowered. It's not about being less or smaller or lighter. It's about more. And
I love that.
So much
that is really amazing.
Of food fads and fad diets. It's about the business and the money behind less, right? How can I make you lighter? How can I make you less connect? I mean, it's just in a way you end up being less than, and we're trying to get in the opposite direction.
Right.
That's really beautiful, actually.
Yeah, I really love that. And again, like, I think that it's so fascinating. You know, like I said, I've worked with you before, but I really didn't realize the network and the connections that you have. I mean, since working with you, we've gotten to meet so many great people that you know and love, and we're going to meet a lot more of them. And so it's just such a great thing to learn. I mean, what's better than learning about how to nourish your body?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
In the right way. And I feel like being women, that's always like,
it's
so hard.
Yeah. It's so hard.
It really is. And I mean, I hate to always, like, I feel like I bring up being a woman a lot on this podcast, which is fine. I'm not upset about that, but I just feel like in general, women struggle with it the most.
Oh, for sure.
And have been fed the most harmful information from shitty sources.
Well, I think for the longest time, our value in society was sort of commoditized on our appearance. Right.
Oh,
and it continues to be.
Been. Oh, yeah.
And when I was growing up, I mean, literally, like, how much I weighed was like a question I got asked by mom and grandma. I mean, like, this was part of my, like, accounting of my value in society was my weight.
100%.
And if you were an athlete, you had, which I'm an athlete. I mean, I swam in high school. I mean, I'm not an athlete, but what I mean is I've always been athletic and active. And I mean, living in a world where it wasn't okay to be strong, that wasn't enough. You also had to be, like, smaller and never ever feeling good enough. And so I am trying on my mission to get in front of women. And again, and it doesn't just happen to women, it happens to everyone now. Absolutely. And I think even more nowadays because of the people's awareness of, you know, their social media feeds, and it does become a more like visual medium. And so people have terms in their heads about, you know, their like telegenicity or their whatever, like how they look on camera. My goal is to help them. Well, I'm hoping.
You already are.
Yeah,
well,
you have already helped so many people.
Yeah.
The trick is that, you know, can we get another voice out there that is about, you know, your value on the planet is not just based on a number or your physical, on the like external, you know, it is about how you feel inside, about what you see when you look in the mirror, how your body feels when you move it through the day. Like right before we started the podcast, we were talking about being at a big like home improvement store and trying to get sandbox sand for my kids.
Yeah.
And the bags are 50-pound bags. And I could not have, there was no one around to help me. No. Like I was joking, I need like a flare gun, right? Yeah. To try and find someone in this huge warehouse to help me. And no one was coming to help. And so, you know, my kids, like they held the dolly or whatever. And I just start throwing 50-pound bags of sand up there, not without the need or aid or assistance of a rescuer. And that gives me such a point of love and an opportunity to connect in my own body in a way that pursuit of that the number on the scale or the crap that I dealt with when I was growing up never could fulfill. And so the messaging that we're trying to get out is that if we are doing this in the right way, then you walk away from the process loving yourself more. And it is a process. It's never finished. Yes. It's a constant, right? Like every day, you still got to do the work in terms of your own internal dialogue.
Like marriage.
Just like marriage, all relationships. So the relationship you have with yourself, right?
Yep.
So we have an opportunity every day to connect with others and to communicate a message about more, right? Like let's be more of, you know, of our best selves, right? And not that sort of fearful reductionist thinking.
No, I love that. I think again, I think that's so great. And again, the messaging is the reasoning why people love you and connect with you. I mean, I'm serious. Like, that's really true. And I think that the further that you get down this road of being an educator online, and I know it seems a little scary and terrifying, and we'll have therapy.
So frightening. And I'm not even kidding. Like, my hands shake in between filming. Like, it's so terrifying. But if you're not stepping out into that discomfort zone, you're not growing, right?
Exactly. So, but I think you're going to be so amazed how much connection you're going to feel with the people that you're helping. And that's going to be such an incredible experience for everybody. And I'm so excited to get there. So, I mean, Diet Brain, the Robin train. Choo choo. I love it. I love it. Oh, God.
Is that Ben?
No, but thank you for coming on.
No, it's my pleasure. I will say that this has been the gift that I have given myself in terms of, I've been running from this from so long, right? Like, since I knew you like years ago, I knew what you did. And I was like, that is the scariest thing I can ever imagine because of her social media courage. And I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And I have been running from it for so long because I was afraid of it.
Such a fantastic job, though.
Well, but it was only because I found the right team.
Yeah.
That's it.
I appreciate that. And when you called me that day, I like remember where I was and I was like, oh my God, we're actually going to do this. We're going to do it. And I was so excited. And I was like, is she going to punk me? Is she going to back out? You tried.
I do. I'm very squirrely.
You
very
were like,
afraid,
you know what?
very fearful.
If I hadn't brought those, what was it from Theo's Brothers Bakery, all those pastries for you, you might have left.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the pastries that
The
took
pastries.
me. The baked goods.
I didn't even know you had a love for pastries back then.
I know.
And then there was the day that I taught you that your car has a keyless entry.
Yes.
And that changed your life. And I think that's the real reason that you stayed.
So I am giving my major props for one of the most life-changing moments ever in all of the many years I've been on this planet. So this woman right here.
Amazing.
Because she was the one that explained to me that I did not have to fish around in my big old purse for my keys, that I could just open the door by pulling on the handle. You know what?
If we do nothing else for you.
My life is daily.
Snaps, honestly, for Robin.
8 times a day. I am like, thank you, Leslie. 8 times a day.
I'm blessed. I'm so glad.
Again, you never know ever when you walk out of your house in the morning how you're going to change someone's life, right?
Oh, yeah.
It can be in small ways, which are cumulatively big deals, or it can be in a big way. And yeah, you guys have had a positive, such a big influence.
You have definitely impacted our lives very positively.
Oh, my sweet.
Oh my God, cheers, guys.
Oh my God.
I'd have out of wine. I need more wine.
So beautiful.
I'll take a little.
I'll drink for them. It's fine.